Let's go.
Wednesday afternoon.
I'm thinking, where is Sri Lanka? And then about towards the end, I saw him and I'm thinking, where have you been throughout the game? So I probably me not paying attention there. Right. So the other subject I was going to move on to, I don't know if you have any, but it's the issue of Liverpool and Mohamed Salah. Now, there's been a bit of uncertainty over his contract, whether you're renewing it or they're not renewing it, and they're looking for a possible replacement for him. But I think the guy is his style of play being misunderstood, or is it just being ignored? What is missing about his? Because he don't seem to be recognized in anything at the moment, right? So he's totally ignored for the Ballon d'Or, and then recently, the Confederation of African Football, called CAF, and there was a nominee for the Player of the Year, and he's not on that list of nominees.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, yeah, I know. So it got me thinking, what is wrong? What is wrong with his? Obviously, he's a good player, isn't he? Because he's scoring goals. He makes the runs. You watch a Liverpool match where he's featured, you always see him doing his, he puts his, he does the graft. So what is the problem with Salah? What do you think?
Well, I don't see any problem with him. I think he's a fabulous footballer. He's quick. He's brilliant down that wing, and he's got his own style, as you say. He runs down. He often cuts in, and that's probably his favourite thing to do. He'll outpace somebody, cut on the inside, and then he'll glide one in with his left foot, to the top corner or whatever. That's his speciality, I think. So I can't think of anything you would say is wrong with him. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't aware he wasn't considered, certainly for the Confederation of African Football. You think he'd be at the top every time.
Yeah.
Or a Ballon d'Or. He wasn't in even the lists, the early lists. I didn't see that.
I didn't see it. I had to look at the list. He's nowhere on the list. He's nowhere on the list of it. Yeah. And I'm thinking, he's such an exceptional player. He is an exceptional player. And Liverpool, it's not like they're in the, Division 1 or whatever. They're in the Premier League.
No.
So I do not see why he's not been recognized in any. It must be really heartbreaking for him to not be to not be recognized. All right, so I get the fact that he's not recognized in Europe, perhaps because there is a lot of exceptional players in top leagues that winning they're winning the Champions League, they're doing well. However, even in Africa, where it seems to have his roots, he's still not recognized there. I read that yesterday, and I thought he must really feel, and then there's the uncertainty about his contract, and it's not like, we've got to keep Salah, we've got to do everything we can to get him to renew his contract. It's like, we're looking for a possible Salah replacement, and I'm thinking that's not how you treat somebody that is being, do you know what I mean? That is done so much for your team. So I don't get it. Anyway, I just thought I'd just mention that because it was a bit of a worry.
Do we know how old he is? He's got to be late 20s.
I think Salah is probably in his 30s. I would think.
Is he in his 30s? Well, that might explain why Liverpool might want to sort of cash in on him at some point. If he's around 30 or early 30s, he's probably had his best days. I mean, I think he scored plenty of goals last year. He is scoring goals this year, to my recollection. So I'm a bit mystified, although it does seem when a club considers a player is likely to sort of lose their brilliance in the next year or two, they might be looking to cash in while there's still a year or two on the contract. Otherwise, if the contract runs out, they're free to go and they don't get any fee, of course, the club.
Right,
But yeah, I wouldn't have thought he was at that stage yet, really. He still weaves his magic at Liverpool.
Saw Femi and the ladies, Dr. Gladys and Phantom and Rose. We all have a lovely show every weekday. So join us for a lovely show.
Say hello to Phantom, Dr. Glad.
Fee, of course, the club.
Right.
But yeah, I wouldn't have thought he was at that stage yet, really. He still weaves his magic at Liverpool, and I would have thought the new manager there, he must rate him because he's a great player to have, on your books, in your team. And I'm sure Liverpool fans love him. Why wouldn't you? After all he does for the club.
It does a lot.
So yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised he's not featuring. I mean, I think he has before. He's been nominated and probably got a lot of awards, in truth. So maybe he's just got to that age where they think there's younger people coming through who deserve the encouragement and the accolades.
Yeah, well,
could be something like that.
It could be, yeah. I was just a little bit gutted for him, I thought he probably deserved a bit more. But and still on the subject of Liverpool, I know they're top flight at the moment on the Premier League. So, I think they're about 5 points clear at the top. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I read something about their reign at the top might not last for. It might be short-lived, because of they might so far they've not had any real injury that's put any of their star players out for longer than a week or two, besides Konaté one. I think Konaté picked up a knock, but that it's not considered to be. I think it was something in the arm. Now I can't remember who they played, but yeah. So, but do you think would you agree with that statement that the reign at the top is short-lived?
Who made that statement? Is that the press or somebody else?
It was the press. They were just analyzing the uncertainty hanging over the contract with Mo Salah and then Van Dijk. And then there's Chiesa as well. So they're looking to offload him in the January window.
Sorry, who's that?
Chiesa. I think there's a player that they've bought from Europe, somewhere in Europe, called Chiesa.
Yeah.
And he's not been really performing. So they've been looking to just let him go. So there's all that. Because they've got to then do a reshufflement to and Alexander Trent Arnold Alexander Arnold. He's itching to move actually.
Is he?
Yeah, he is itching to move to either Barcelona or Madrid, but he's really looking to move. I've been following it up. So there's all that. It's all that hanging, and they would just able to make a kind of like a forecast of where they'd be when once the dust settles, what would happen to perhaps their position at the top. It might be a bit shaky. For instance, what do you think?
And is Van Dijk? You say Van Dijk is he going as well? Or?
No, I think Van Dijk is staying, but
right.
Yeah, Van Dijk is staying. There's nothing about Van Dijk moving, but Van Dijk on his own, I don't think it makes that much of an impact if Alexander Trent goes and Mo Salah goes. There's not a lot left there, is it?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I mean, I think there was always going to be
Femi and the ladies, Dr. Gladys and Phantom and Rose. We all have a lovely show every weekday. So join us for a lovely show.
Say hello to Phantom.